Hello everyone, this is Cookies, and I screwed up my last recording because I paused to sneeze, and then I forgot to unpause, so I get to redo this. I will say, this is going to be a very entertaining turn. Whoops. And apparently I still forgot to turn off my phone. Alright, so I got the phone turned off, and I will say, we've got a big battle this turn, and unfortunately Fomoria staled. It was partially a screw up on my end as well, because I asked if he needed more time, and then I got distracted playing Marvel Rivals and forgot to go back and add time regardless of him responding. So hopefully that doesn't tip it too much, but we did have a big fight here in Winden. So it's unfortunate that this kind of like big game altering fight, the Fomoria player didn't have a chance to move their stuff around, change formations, and whatnot. Alright, so messenger from Hinnom. I'm thinking about empowering my god in Astral to be able to teleport for a throne rush. It's just 2 empowers and a crystal coin that I can craft in 2 turns, and sending out all the sand warriors to be ready to run over Marverni. Not sure at what point the others will start to sound alarm bells. Made a new prophet who can fly stealthily and make sick TikToks for this too. And so we got TikTok Thought the Lilot, which is actually a really nice prophet, because a flying Holy 3, very stealthy prophet is great for Hinnom. So this was a great choice, actually. And it's a use for the Lilot I haven't actually seen yet, so pretty cool. Tianchi will just fly through all these battles. Now, you might have thought, wait, Tianchi's dead. Well, Tianchi had a lot of scouts, and they're trying to, I guess, pay upkeep or just to have a little bit of fun on the way out. So they had a lot of scout pings, looking to see what they could do. Cause some headaches. And so that's going to be the vast majority of the battles this turn. Looks like he actually killed a ghoul with the scout. And what that means is, in effect, we've only got 6 real battles. Now, one of them is this big one in Winden, so let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, so we've got Sylphs. We've got a big collection of Stormdrakes. Now, I have tried a couple of times to make a Stormdrake or 2 do some stuff, and I've generally run into the issue where because they've also got Storm immunity, where they just fly into combat because they're also undisciplined, so they just fly in and die. And I'm not sure what to do about that. I don't see any land units in their squad. I think sometimes you could have, maybe like you could put a couple of giants in their squad and then they wouldn't fly. But I'm not seeing that here. We've also got a line of mechanical men. Pretty great. They can eat a lot of evocations and won't care. Additionally, the giants can just wade through them. And so the giants will be able to take on the majority of the fighting, but they can share a square with the mechanical men, which is pretty neat. Or if there's no mechanical man in the area, you can just get 2 giants because of their formation fighter. And then we've got a number of mages here. We've also got a fair number of Cryptes thugs. So this is, I mean, sometimes they've got the iron cap. I mean, there's a little bit of variation. We'll take a look at it. But a lot of them have these LLPs for additional imps. On the Fomorian side, we've got the intermixing, where he's got the giants out in front, and then the Numidians and Furbolg will filter in with the giants, and they'll also share squares. So 2 experienced players using the same sort of technique, which is pretty cool. We've also got a lot of the Fomorian heroes here. We've got Balor. I think we've got the Numidian Queen somewhere in here. Here she is. We've got a Golem. We've got a few Manticores. We've got other Fomorian kings. Great Eagles, a lot of Draconians. In terms of gear and gem allotments, you can take a look here and make your predictions about what they'll do. I'll try to go through a couple more times after this battle finishes and just kind of cover what the mages were casting. Here are the Cryptes thugs, so you can kind of take a look at them as well. And yeah, all of this is over the Throne of the Artificer. So very big and very important battle. Let's go ahead and see how it goes. All right, just really quick, these are going to be our three battlefield wides. We've got Storm, Hell, and Darkness. Okay, so as we can see here, a pretty crushing victory for Mekone. So Mekone loses a Crystal Sork, one Effer, about a third of his giants, about half of the mechanical men, and all the sylphs, which are mercs. So in my opinion, they don't super count. They're kind of a little bit more free. So But still, it was 118 out of 279, which is somewhat high attrition, but the army still is functional, especially with the Mage Corps. On the Fomoria side, though, not as much. 250 out of 350 is pretty high attrition. And then we've got 3 Fomorian Druids, a Fomorian King, and a Golem going down. Now, it could have been a lot worse. All the Numidians got away in terms of the commanders. His Troll Shaman got away, although that might have been Mercs, but it also just might have been the spell summon. I'm not sure. And the High King got away, so his heroes also got away, and then he only lost 1 out of 4 Fomorian Kings. Something I thought was really interesting was the Stormdrakes did not immediately fly in and die, which is all they ever do for me. Instead, they followed behind the infantry and did a lot of work with their lightning, which I'm curious if there was anything Mekone did to script that, or if he just got kind of lucky with Undisciplined. I thought they were scriptable. No, they're Undisciplined. Okay. So yeah, for me, they always just fly in and die, and they've got Storm immunity, so they'll happily do it no matter what. We did have Storm in this battle. But this time they followed behind the army, and they don't... I mean, they've got the Strike Lightning, which does a little bit of armor negating damage, but the Mechanical Men have a lot of shock resist, and the Giants have a lot of hit points. So generally speaking, it was pretty safe for these Storm Drakes to just follow behind the army and light up everyone in front of them. And then we saw a fair number of evocations come out of the mage lineup for Mekone. So the Crypties thugs picked up 22 kills. The Giants picked up 142. Mechanical Men even picked up 41. Storm Drakes got 81. The only people who struggled were the Sylphs because they jumped in on the big massive Draconians and got probably spread out. And they were right next to Fomoria's mages, but that's fine if it lessens the attrition for the rest of the army. And then for Fomoria, the Fomorian Kings picked up 18. He was probably hoping for a little bit more. The High King got 19, though. He was doing some big, like, Hands of Death when he was in melee. Barghest did okay. They went about even. The Morrigans, apparently there were 3 Morrigans that got brought in. They killed 14, so they did a pretty good job. The Unmarked struggled. The Numidian warriors struggled, and unfortunately that was the main battle line. And the Draconians also didn't do much. So a lot of the main line troops didn't really pull their weight for Fomoria. Even the 3 Mana Cores, all 3 of them died and they only got 2 kills. And generally speaking, they've got like this nice Flick Barbs attack. They've also got 3 attacks and they've got a fear effect. I think ideally you'd hope for a little bit more. So yeah, a big win for Mekone. And again, really unfortunate that Fomoria staled. He might have brought in more mages or cloud trapezed more people in, brought in more troops. It's just really unfortunate. Done more to secure retreat routes, although there doesn't seem to have been much fighting over retreat routes. All right, and then we've got Hinnom going after a main. So these are the independent Longda that are preventing him from controlling a full north-south border. This guy's got tough skin. So Blessing, Fire Shield, that's probably all he needs. All these undead are going to kill themselves on the Fire Shield. If there were enough undead, it could be a problem, because his vampiric weapons aren't going to help, and he's going to fatigue out from Berserker. But it was just the set amount of undead, so he was fine. All right, picks up 74 kills, a fair amount of experience. And then Sauromatia attacks Xibalba in Jab. This is the Sauromatia AI. So it looks like they've got some trolls here. Alright, these are the troll mercs, so I think Fomoria just did the summoning spell. And unfortunately the leader ran in front, and the trolls were, I guess, on hold and attack. So they didn't do anything. Pretty sad, even for the AI. And then we've got the storming of Sauromatia. So let's go ahead and see what all's in here. Just a fair amount of summoned garbage. Although some of this is actually kind of nice. We've got some Bone Fiends. I like these. I know a lot of players don't, but I like the dual claw attacks with decently high attack. I think it's a decent early game blood summon. And then we've got a Foul Beast. This is kind of cool. These tentacles are armor piercing. We got some Banes. We got a Witch King with the Thistle Mace. But other than that, not a lot here. Not expecting much from the AI here, especially against a bunch of rough fights and a Melkart. Imagine they just walk through this. The Seir might all die to the archers. Okay. So I think that's pretty much over. Does lose an Ami, which is, I mean, that sucks. And then I think loses the Mound King. Okay, the Mound King is fine. Loses a smattering of troops and 5 of the Seir. So not as many Seir losses as I thought he might take. And takes his second capital, which is pretty nice for him. He'll have to patrol out the unrest though. And then we've got the storming of Tianchi, and then I'll go back to Winden and see what the mages were casting. Oh, no, he's just pinging this. So we've got a fair number of demons of the heavenly fires. We've got a lot of cubes, we've got fall bears, and we've got forest trolls. So iFlyte using all of his gems to summon some stuff, which you love to see. So not making it free. And then Throne of Death has awoken, so units have aged. Alright, so going back to Winden, let's go ahead and take a look at what the mages were doing. I'll go to about maybe like round 3 or 4. Maybe round 5. Okay. So we'll see if we can see. Alright, so we got Sow Dragon Teeth, which is phenomenal. And we see all the Sow Dragon Teeth here. So Sow Dragon Teeth, they have a magic golden spear, which is actually really good against Fomoria because Fomoria likes to do a lot of Mistform buffs. So these guys are great. They've got 22 protection. Not a ton of hit points, but I mean, just being able to throw a ton of these guys out here is pretty incredible for a battle like this. And then, so we've got Sow Dragon Teeth, Temper Armors, Sow Dragon Teeth, Temper Armors. And we've got some Spell Ward for MR, which is really nice, especially if you're worried about banishment on your Sow Dragon Teeth. We've got some Body Ethereal. So not setting up any sort of communion, just doing a lot of point buffing with these Crystal Sorks. And then we got the Earth Gnome. Oh, it's just this guy. Okay. He's just hanging out, I guess. More Dragon Teeth. And then a little bit of self-buffing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Having him off-script Flying Shield is really nice. And Thunder Ward. Okay. More Dragon Teeth. Just a lot of Dragon Teeth. We got Will-O-Wisp. And more Will-O-Wisp. They're great distractions. They've got like 20 defense. From the Fomoria side, we've got a lot of Mistform buffs. So all of this Mistform point buffing is perfectly countered by all the Dragon Teeth. We got a little bit of Air Elemental summoning. Mistform. Darkness. Storm. Now, Howl should be helping distract. We've got Fireball, Flame Bolt. Alright, so the Garanties are here for evocation support. Golem does Power the Spheres. Rewrite Fate. I don't think I've seen that one. Soul Vortex, Air Elemental. We've got the Crypties. Howl from the Numidian Queen. A little bit of Luck and Blur. Also countered by Dragon Teeth. I think they've got Spirit Sight. Gift of Displacement. Group Blur. So all of the point buffing that Fomoria is doing is getting countered by... In a large way, these Dragon Teeth, yeah, they've got Spirit Sight. And the standard Mekone Giants also have magic weapons. So Mistform in general, it'll help versus these mechanical men, but it's not going to do much against Mekone's army in general. Almost everything in this army is doing magic weapon attacks. Okay. And then I thought we could also watch to see how the Sylphs did back here. Okay. Now, Dragon Teeth does not come with shock res. So these Stormdrakes are killing the absolute dog shit out of these Sparte. But they're performing their role. Then we have a bunch of imps as well. So yeah, very gem expensive for Mekone to win this army, but I mean it was a good call, and it was a pretty big victory. So let's go ahead and go to the map. What this means is, all right, so Fomoria has leadership in each of these two provinces, so he should be able to pull back and regroup. Maybe somewhere like Winter Peaks. But, I mean, this was a lot of the strength that Fomoria had been building up to. And I imagine Mekone's going to try and press this advantage. Maybe he can get a peace agreement with Fomoria. I'm not sure. I mean, he might want one. It's not always your favorite thing to create an invasion through one province like this, but it is such a strategic province. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening here. They could come to some sort of agreement. Maybe Mekone tries to press it and pick up a little bit of territory. This river kind of blocks this. but could try pushing. I mean, he's only 3 away from Fomoria's cap. He could try pushing towards the cap. But it'll take a little bit for reinforcements to get here. There's not a lot of stuff in Glanis. There's a little bit of stuff in Melma. He might not want to send a ton of troops out from these 3 forts to get to Winden. He's still kind of consolidating this area a little bit, but I mean, we'll see. Kirby's a very scrappy player. He could certainly fight this war. And then what happened here? Who owned this? So this was Mekone's. May not have had enough PD here to keep this, and it may have just rebelled. Oh, it's just got a lot of, it was a Gaia event. Let me close Discord. Okay. So yeah, Mekone's got an interesting decision to make, and he might not know about what Xibalba and Berytos have in store. So we'll see. It does look like so last turn Xibalba did indeed get the Throne of Death. Ooh, he's got the Dustwalkers. He's been summoning like crazy. Okay. And all right, so if you're going for a Throne Rush, you need to take Dragon Scale before it gets forwarded. He's now got forts on some of these thrones too. So he's finished forting some of this up. What happened here? A Gore-Tide Horror? Oh gosh. So this guy just got rando horror marked. Yeah, Blessing isn't going to save you here. Paralyze might have, but it didn't. Okay. I wonder how Hinnom plans to pull this off, because if I remember right, he still needed 2 more thrones. So we've got Dragon Scale. I think that'd be the most likely one. And then Sitha. But Sitha has a fort now, too. I have to think the lobby will put it together, but we'll see. He's got a very long empire, and these players might not be communicating a ton, especially regarding game state. I mean, if he's allowed to just kind of passively take Marverni while other players are fighting wars, I think that has to be too far. Because then he'd only need 1 more. But they might not know that. Because he has been refraining from claiming, so he's only claimed 2. Xibalba should have decent game state knowledge, though. But some of this requires kind of like people communicating. So Marverni knows about these 2. These 3. And Berytos and know about this one. And this one's still not forwarded either. Xibalba, no. This is part of the 3. And you only need 6 to win? I mean, a war against Marverni does make sense to Hinnom. All right, the shed have moved from Ochre Desert to Obsidian Waste. So I think this is Berytos putting together his army. I believe his portion is going to be fighting Helheim. So maybe trying to take over this part. I forget if is planning to fight Mekone or fight Helheim. But I mean, has a tremendous amount of stuff. Okay. I mean, we'll see what he ends up doing. Wolfolk. Okay. And then... yeah, I'm really curious if... so Helheim might barely finish off TNC. And then Berytos is gonna probably start counting down the nap. You're definitely going to need more than just the army, though. As Berytos, you're going to need some raiding groups. It's got a lot of stuff kind of rolling down, though. We'll see if is also ready. But, I mean, if attacks even just this little piece, he's going to get so much gem income. Just from these 3 provinces, it would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 gems. And then I presume Xibalba wants to get this piece of Helheim. I mean, that's definitely a 3v1. I'd be a little bit sad about that if I were Helheim. Would definitely feel like you're just getting voted off. Let's see. But it might be just enough room for Hinnom to do his throne rush if he attacks Marverni. But he's also gonna, he does have to attack Xibalba as well. And then he has to claim everything very quickly, and it'll, even with teleport on his pretender, because he's got an immobile, it's gonna take 2 turns to claim everything. So I think what you do is you start out in your current 2 unclaimed thrones. And then if you take those 2 provinces, you roll in with, so like the turn you initiate the jump, you claim 2. And then you move and teleport to the other 2. Maybe when you storm them, because they might both be forted. There's definitely a little bit of timing to this. I mean, there's no garrison in this throne, though. The Marverni army is on the complete opposite side. It is next to this throne, though. So you might want to garrison that more. Because this Trinity is definitely no joke. Marverni, I don't think they should be a pushover. The bitter stream. That's interesting. Okay. Just kind of looking at the Sarah Cap site. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at graphs. So we can see here the remaining players. We've got Hinnom, Xibalba, and on provinces, followed by Mekone and Helheim. Fomoria has just tried to fight a first war. Marverni hasn't fought a first war. Berytos hasn't fought a first war. So everyone above the Berytos line has fought in some war yet. Had the most time to consolidate, though, after his first war. There's a lot of momentum that comes with that. Hinnom has survived a 1v2 and has come out of it with the most land, but hasn't really had time to consolidate yet. But they're also getting kind of left alone, which I think is strange. And so we've got Mekone and Helheim. Now, in terms of forts, Berytos is still number 1, but Hinnom's now in 2nd. So he should be able to hire a lot of stuff pretty quickly, especially as he gets Unrust down. And he does need some time to get Unrust down and get his Dominion spread if he wants to get more of that income. Is still way out in front. And then we've got Berytos, and then everyone else, and then Marverni. For gym income, is way out on top. There's a lot of area under this curve, but we'll have to see what spends it on. Then we've got Xibalba, Berytos, and Hinnom. For blood income, Xibalba has just passed Berytos in terms of blood economy. So it's the 4th time or something. Yeah, because they passed him here and here and here and here. So you can kind of see all the crazy amount of hunting Xibalba can do when they get settled down. In terms of research, Berytos is still way out in front. We don't see any of the sorts of inflections from the remaining players in terms of what you would see from getting lanterns. And then for Dominion, we've got Hinnom, and Berytos. Also, Marverni's got more research than Hinnom by a margin. So that's another reason that war could be more dangerous than maybe Hinnom thinks. For army size, we've got followed by Berytos. So just shooting ahead. They've got so much stuff. And then Xibalba and Hinnom down in third, kind of like tied for 3rd. And then we've got ascension points. So, all right. So we've got a new war. We'll have to see what Mekone and Fomoria decide to do after Mekone's big defense of where I can't find the throne. After Mekone's big defense of Winden, we'll have to see what these two players decide. I don't think Mekone wants to invade Fomoria, but they might try to take like this fort circle or part of it. I'm not sure. Or Fomoria might just keep attacking, knowing it's going to be a pain in the ass for Mekone to try and invade this. And then, yeah, just kind of waiting for to get unleashed, because we've got large armies here, 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 and here. So that's kind of like 5 larger armies, and then we've got smaller forces scattered around as well. He's also got, he's covered with 19 PD from his Enkidu elders. So it's a pretty fun unit that gets. It's this guy. So he's a defense organizer, so he gives you free PD. So has been very methodical about moving these Enkidu elders around. Although this guy retreated from this battle, that's why there's not one there. So yeah, he's been picking up his 19 free PD everywhere. So he'll be kind of a pain to raid as well. Gosh, so many gems. All right. But yeah, nothing mobilized just yet. We do see Berytos mobilizing. So we see the army moving. And with Xibalba, we see a lot of blood hunting. We've got a big increase in Jaguars. We've got more Aussies getting made, more Shade Beasts. Really still waiting for this fort to show up. He's patrolling that, which I like. I mean, he got a lot out of this vulturing. So, but it's clear he did back off from Iron Peaks. I imagine Hinnom was upset about the mill cart. And yeah, Hinnom's going to finish taking these forts pretty soon, and he's going to have to patrol out all of this unrest. So you see these, all these Call of the Winds. All of these are just going around trying to patrol down unrest. He's got so many of these packs of birds. And then a little bit for patrolling for blood hunting. But we're talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 casts out here patrolling, and then another cast back here. So there is a very steep price to using these Rephites, and it's going to be in terms of tempo and income, trying to get all this land incorporated. All right. But, I mean, he's got it. Iron Peak shouldn't be too difficult to take. I mean, if you could take it without Rephites, that'd probably be best. He's going to have to find some way to kill these shrimp warriors. Might take a milk cart to do that job. And then you get to see the Sauromatian PD go away, but he might be waiting to take all these forts and get his own temples put down so that he can get his Dominion in there. But also if he's doing a throne rush, then might take a little bit. But it's going to be hard for a large army to sneak in between these two players and just kind of angle itself over here in Troublebog to go for Sitha. Because that's his only way to get to Sitha. So I imagine he'll probably just do a general attack on Marverni. But he will want to put Sitha under siege pretty quickly. Otherwise, Berytos might try to vulture this throne. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A 10 gem throne. Pretty insane. Okay, cool. I think that's it for this one, though. Hopefully I'm covering everything you guys wanted to see. I'm really excited to see how this throne rush works out, especially since he's not one of the players being targeted for a coalition. And I feel sorry for Zan. He gets coalitioned a lot. But it looks like he's going to get coalitioned again for having a long border with 3 of the largest armies in the game. And then we'll see what Mekone ends up trying to do. Mekone might try to attack to pull some pressure off of Helheim, but we'll see. And I think that's it for this one. So I'll go ahead and see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.